If you're a heat and air conditioning technician or even a salesperson, what are the 7 things that you need to know about negotiations, and why do they matter? This is a super important question. I'm Sylvan Bell, coming to you live from Sacramento, California, on a perfect day to talk about sales and a perfect day to talk about you. Now, here's the thing. At some point, you're going to roll numbers for a system, for a project, and you have to maintain personal control. I'm not saying you have to control the situation and tell people what to do. You have to be able to control yourself. So let's start with number 1. You have to master your time. Now, timekeeping is something that really isn't talked about in sales. It's not really talked about generally in negotiations. It's not really talked about as a way for you to understand if you drew this out on a map. And let's say that your presentation is 1 hour, that you do a presentation for 1 hour. You need to allot 1/10 of your presentation time to deal with the buyer at least. Okay, so you need to have, if it's 1 hour, you need to have 6 minutes of content after you ask for the money. So you say it's $20,000 and the person comes back with a response or retort or a request. You need to have content of at least 6 minutes. Right? Nobody ever tells you that. At least 6 minutes, probably closer to 12. So it's going to be 10 to 20% of the total presentation time is what you may go through to negotiate. So you got to have some content there. Number 2, you need to master word tracks. If you're going to master your time, you need to master word tracks. And so I've got all sorts of videos on word tracks. There's tons of them on the internet. I'm not the only person out there talking about this. Like, you may find that some word tracks specifically work for you and some of them don't, and that's okay. But you need to start writing these down and create your own playbook of word tracks that you practice while you're driving. You practice in the mornings, you practice on the weekends, whatever time. I'm just giving you a couple of examples. And this is why you should join the HVAC Tech Secrets. I'll give you the goods, not in the Facebook group, not in the YouTube channel. Number three, you've got to role play. You can't expect this to happen naturally. Okay, so I'll give you an example. I drove out here as we're sitting here. It's a weekend, and on weekends I create content because that's what I do. And so today I was driving here, and I was like, I've got to record some word tracks that I'm working on for my own business, for my own negotiations. So I've got my handy dandy Sony recorder, and I was talking to my recorder while I was driving. Sure, I got an app on my phone, but there's something cool about holding like this Star Trek thing towards my face and having a conversation. Number 4, you need to know your math. Where did your math come from? Inevitably somebody's going to ask for a discount, and you need to know how you can discount. I'm a big fan of declining discounts, right? So random numbers, $10,000 job, my first discount's going to be $300, $371. My next discount's going to be $222, and then my last discount's going to be $78. You want to know why? Because I'm declining over time and saying I have nothing left to give. There's a word track for you. You can go back to number 3, looking for word tracks. You need to know your math. Number 5, you need to have your playbook, right? And your playbook could be this. You can move down a product line or a service, or you can remove products. So somebody says, I want all of the things that you have in your gold, silver, bronze package, platinum package, whatever it is, but I only want to pay for the one below it. You need to know that, like, hey, look, at this level of expectations, these are all the things that we went over. These are all the things that you said that were important to you, that you wanted. They're all in there, but at the end of the day, it doesn't seem like you want to pay for them. So how do I take care of my guys? How do I take care of products? Kind of throw it back on them. Your playbook is going to be yours. Right? I've got plenty of friends that do sales. They may say it completely different than you. You may say it completely different than them. And that's perfectly fine and normal, which is one of the word tracks that I coined that has really helped a ton of salespeople. It's perfectly fine and normal. Number 6, you need to regulate your emotions. And so one of the things to do is just start recognizing what your body does when you feel stressed out. Right? Today, just so you know, today's been a very stressful day for me. I go through these too, right? It's not just you. I go through very stressful situations. Today was a very stressful day. So for me, I feel stress right here on my chest. I feel it when I breathe. So if you could pay attention to your body language and get somebody to put you out in a stressful situation, what do you do with your face? Right? Do you scrunch up your eyes? Do you curl your lips? You're like, "Ugh." Right? What do you do in stressful situations? And so this is why you need to role play. You need to know, hey, here's all the things that are going to happen, and here's what's going to go down. Number 7, you got to ask for the sale again, right? So you got to give some like detailed instructions. It's really easy to get started. One of my favorite all-time lines. It's really easy to get started. I just need, I don't know how many times I sold systems by saying it's really easy to get started. I just need a driver's license. And the person would get up from the table and start walking, and they go, why am I getting a driver's license? And because we're doing business, silly. Those are my exact words. Now I'm a little bit different than you. You may go, hey, I don't think I would do that. That's fine, right? In the pendulum of like very passive over here to very aggressive, I'm probably about right there, right? I'm probably like 70-80% of when it comes to aggressive. Not full on pit bull, but like I do have my moments. So you got to ask for the sale in whatever way that you're going to do it. Now here's the thing. You should probably have seven different ways to ask for the sale. Really easy to get started. I'd love to do business with you. Let's pick you a date. There's 3 of them right there. Come up with 4 more. You're good to go. But role play and practice, right? And then if you were like, hey, Scott, I like that you did 7. I like that you did 7. You did 7. That was amazing of you, Scott. I read this book, Start with No. I was going to say Never Split the Difference. That's a fantastic book too. But Jim Camp wrote this book called Start with No. And I've got a ton of recordings that I paid for from Jim. And Jim says, look, in my line of business, we never walk away. We let the other people walk away. So with that being said, I'm not saying be aggressive. I'm not saying be a jerk, but allow for the person that's with you to say, hey, I think that we're done. And then say, wrap things up. I'm going to let them be the impetus of we're done here. So I'm going to try. I'm going to do everything I can to close the deal. I'm going to ask for the business. They're going to give me their report, their reply, or their retort, reply, or request. And then I'm going to do what I got to do with that via word tracks, via math, change my plan, change my process, and then go from there. But I let them walk away. I let them decide like, hey, this isn't for me, or I'm not going to do it. Right. And so like if you regulate your emotions and you regulate everything that's going on, if you're stressed out, that's going to show up in this end of the role play. See, the thing that you have to understand is the thing that I know and that I struggle with myself sometimes is whatever negative emotions that you're feeling are going to shine through in your closing process. They're going to shine through in your presentation. And so if you have a bunch of stuff going on in life, you got to pay attention to that, right? I've got friends that check in on me, what's going on, how you doing, and I pay attention to what words I tell them because those words have a tendency for those emotions to pop up in your closing presentation. So there you go. Let's just run through them. 1, you need to master time. 2, you need to master word tracks. Come on, you got this. Number 3, you got to role play those word tracks. Number 4, you got to know your math. Number 5, you got to have your playbook. What are you going to do when somebody asks you for a discount? How are you going to work with that? Right? Hey, Mr. Sales Guy, Sales Dude, Technician, you're at 20 and I want to pay 15. Take 25% off. What's your word track? Me? I wish I could. You know, you're looking at the gold package. I could do that on the silver, which happens to be 15. Know your word tracks. Remove products. Great. Let's take some of these warranties and guarantees out. Let's take out this handy dandy Wi-Fi thermostat and just put in a basic one. Why don't we move you down on warranties and guarantees? Like, just know that you can remove things. Number 6, make sure to regulate your emotions. Number 7, right there, 7, ask for the sale. And number 8, bonus, let them walk away. Let them say, I'm done. There you go. You know, you got 1 or 2 things to do from here. Just 1 or 2. Find the subscribe button, click on it, and every time I send out a video, you'll get an update that says HVAC Technician Sales Secrets and another fantastic video, which I have, or hit follow. We'll see you soon.